Welcome back to the Sonic Boom commentary, and we are about to enter Sea Urchin Town. I don't know what these people are, or why they're here, or what they're waffling about in this cutscene we're about to see.
The Rastafarian jellyfish.
No, this guy starts the conversation by saying, "Take the road to the left, that's the wrong way. Don't go that way."
This is the best. I know I've said this like 4 times now, but this is the best cutscene in the game because this you could show this clip just to see how broken, how unpolished this game is.
Look, they don't. Their mouths just keep flapping whether there's anything coming out of them or not.
It's like an SA1 cutscene.
Okay, it's not that bad.
Not that bad, no.
They sound exactly like characters from a Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Oh, I love this. Where did Lyric get this ship from? Look how bad the shadow is in the music. Doo-doo.
And here comes another blitzkrieg.
Where are the goons? Tails, where are these goons you were referring to?
No, they're gonna drop in like 10
An hour.
seconds.
An hour. I could just stand still and they'll never come down.
Well, they drop by the time you get there. But you're so far away by the time they start dropping that I'm pretty sure their models all pop out anyway. So you wouldn't see them dropping in. Oops. Didn't mean to drop down there again, but might as well collect rings.
I know how we talked about the soundtrack to this game being mostly forgettable, but I do think that this is a nice piece. Like, you know, as out of place as it is at the moment, it's very nice and calming, I think.
This section of the area feels more like a hub world than a level, even though it's technically part of the level.
Well, I would say to go off what, like, I think me and Lewis said in an earlier part, but like, I think the music, it's perfectly serviceable when you're playing it, but for my money, nothing sticks with you. Like, say, the soundtrack like Colors or SA1 would stay with you after like playing the level. Like, apart from the main theme, I couldn't tell you how any of the tracks go. But I, remember,
I can't hum any of this.
No, I can't either, but it's just, you know, I think it's a good calming piece. Which you don't necessarily hum to begin with, so...
Yeah, but I would say I remember there are certain sections where I remember thinking I enjoyed the music, like when Amy and Sonic go into the underwater cavern or the mining section, as we said earlier. But like, I remember thinking I liked that, but I can't remember how the fuck they went.
Well, to be honest, I don't personally think every game needs to have a soundtrack that you listen to while you're not playing, that you know, sticks with you as long as it helps the experience along, and I think this... well, not necessarily this music while we're fighting. This is the most. I think the soundtrack does a decent enough job of having music that's good to listen to while you're playing, and not necessarily distracting. But I never really stopped to listen to it either.
Like, because I think having a more modern Sonic style, like guitar-heavy soundtrack would probably be distracting in this kind of.
Well, not while I'm fighting. While I'm fighting, that's the kind of music I want to have.
I don't know. It just.
Well, it's also very on and off. We're commenting, I think Ted brought it up earlier, that in the first hub world, you know, you have the regular background music, and then when you're doing something fast-paced, like the speed sections, the tempo increases, or they add more instruments to it. But they don't do that with this one, I don't think. Well, I can barely hear the music anyway because of all the damn carnage.
Because I'm just mashing the special button and endlessly doing Amy's spin attack, which is probably the most broken way to brawl ever.
Actually, the funny thing about the hub world music is in Bygone Islands, the second hub world. I think that something the cue to change between hub world themes is actually dependent on your altitude in the level for some reason. Like, some games do that where they'll like have a quieter music piece to signify that you're high up. But it's a really wonky programming, so you can like change between background musics just by jumping up and then down.
Yeah, I noticed that the most when I was doing that. I was doing that side quest where you have to activate those self-defense towers for Percy.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of right now, actually.
Yeah, you're standing on. You go to a higher altitude, hit the green button, and suddenly the music picks up. It's like, oh fuck yeah! I'm gonna climb these towers. I'm gonna press these buttons. I'm gonna press these buttons hard. And then I get down on the floor, and it just goes back to relaxing music. I was like, oh okay, that was a thing.
I don't know why the button stops Tails' bombs, but apparently it does.
By the way, there are multiple times where the script says I see a zip line, but they say zip wire.
Subtitle, spoken dialogue,
Yeah, it's kind of like the Portal 2 problem where the subtitles are the script.
No, I think that what that happens is that the actor kind of mangled up the line in the booth, but they liked the take enough to, like, they said the wrong thing, but they kept the take anyway.
They kept it in because we're running out of tape.
Did you see the other characters spawn in over the bottomless pit? Oh man.
Oh hey Sonic, what's going on?
Oh jeez, look at how the shadows are popping in as we
so
go.
bad.
And this gets worse with co-op. Like, all of these shadows gone when you're playing local.
It's just weird because I've had I know if any of you guys have played Lego Marvel Superheroes,
I did.
that game has a co-op mode similar to that, where you have one person have the gamepad screen and the other person have the TV screen, and I didn't notice any drop in quality for that, but a lot of games have problems with that. Like Hyrule Warriors, you play co-op, the resolution on the main screen gets to be the same as the resolution on the gamepad screen.
I love Hyrule Warriors, but I think the co-op mode is pretty terrible.
Yeah, it is. Ugh.
It's Dynasty Warriors co-op. It's always been Dynasty Warriors co-op.
Well, I mean,
I think
it's
they're just talking about graphical fidelity.
Yeah, I'm talking about like when you play multiplayer in Hyrule Warriors, it just becomes not as unplayable as this, but like the frame rate takes a hit, the graphics look like crap, which isn't a bad thing, but for me, like the frame rate, I'm like, I'd rather just play one player.
Did you see what happened there? I accidentally did a homing attack to back down to the target that I came from, and then I tried to do a third homing attack to get back up, but instead of doing the right homing attack, what it wound up doing was the third combo one where you homing attack down onto the ground. It's a shockwave attack.
There's no timing for this. You have to mash the X button. I found that's what I worked best.
It's just like, why does it even do the combo attack when there are no enemies around?
I think it's just only programmed to let you do 3 homing attacks.
And then it gives you homing attack chains that you might possibly fuck up. Meh. Well, in any case...
Meh, say I.
On the subject of Hyrule Warriors, I think I said this, I'm not sure whether it was off camera or not, but the Wii U's CPU is relatively meh compared to the 360 and PS3, in the sense that it can't handle as much going on as fluidly as the other two systems, even if it's got a better graphics processor.
Well, no, it's just there are games that can do it just fine, and then other games, like Marvel Superheroes. I played that entire game to 99.96% technically.
I'm just saying that might contribute to why Dynasty Warriors, in particular, with all the shit happening, has problems with the co-op camera.
Well, that game also has problems with pop-in in the normal game. Like, you can do a special move, clear out the entire room, and then more enemies will pop in and be like, lol, nope, you didn't kill us.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Well, it's just a matter of how with local co-op that utilizes the gamepad separately, it's like you're splitting the CPU into 2. Like, half of the Wii U's power is going into the gamepad resolution, and half of it's going onto the TV part.
Well, I'm not exactly sure that's the best way to phrase it.
Well, I know, and let it be known that I'm usually talking out of my ass when it comes to shit like this.
When you have a 2-player game, you have 2 options. You can keep both players together in one localized area to minimize how much stuff the computer needs to be doing at any given time, or you can let them go off on their own into 2 different areas, into 2 different parts, and potentially have to handle double the amount of mooks and enemies floating around actively on screen at the time. And dividing that between two displays is a drain in its own right.
Well, it's just Nintendo had a solution to this before, because the DS has a similar thing where it has 2 screens to process. But what they do is they give I believe I talk out of my ass here too. I believe that the top screen and the bottom screen have their own CPU to keep things running smoothly.
They might run off different cores.
or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I've never looked into the DS and 3DS architecture.
I know that at least somewhat they try to split the load between the two, and so I'm surprised that they don't do that for the Wii U as well.
Well, they probably do, but at the same time, it's not it's a game system that's designed to play one game at a time, and when you're playing in multiplayer, it's not the same as playing one game on two screens in single player, which is what you're usually doing on the DS or 3DS.
True.
Yeah.
Because, the graphical, even though the game's being played on both the gamepad and the TV at the same time for here in Sonic Boom, trying to bring us back on topic.
Oh yeah, it's a Sonic game.
The graphical fidelity doesn't go down until you start doing something different on the gamepad.
Until you start doing co-op, which is set up so that characters can go off on their own directions and explore independently.
Knuckles?
When a second player jumps in for a Sonic Boom, the game momentarily stutters so that it can reduce the resolution.
Yeah.
And then that's when everything starts to look like shit.
Oh, you can drop in, drop out whenever you want?
Yeah.
Okay, well, at least that's
In fact,
good.
if you're ever wondering, if for those playing this game single player ever pause the game and wonder what that empty circle is...
Did you hear the line?
Oh, that's right. She did say it.
Yep.
She just says it here for no reason.
Great job, Percy. And you know what makes her say it? I think she says it when I start breaking rocks.
It must just be like a faulty tag for the line.
So this version of Knuckles is just now going to be called Percy.
Percy. Okay, there you go. Confirmed canon.
Knuckles Percy the Echidna.
This game sucks.
Your version of canon and mine is completely different. Oh, okay, so they do a Banjo-Kazooie type thing where it's two different versions of the same track as opposed to two completely different tracks. Okay.
Yeah, you brought that up earlier. I thought that's what you were talking about.
Well, no, because sometimes it seems like there's just two completely different tracks, but here it seems like they've got a
Higher tempo version of the track we've been listening to.
well, not higher tempo because that would mean go faster. Higher energy, like they've got more background beats and drums and crap.
Now, if only they started that while we were fighting robots outside.
Or when Lyric was invading.
Invading, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think even then it's still a pretty peppy track, so I don't think that would dun 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 dun, dun with strings and crap doesn't necessarily fit
comes the
evil
warhead.
invasion.
It still fits better.
A little bit, but I would have gone for like a Imperial March type tune for that sort.
What was that? What was that flickering near Tails for a second?
Rings.
Was it rings?
Yeah, that was ring popping.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, rings are the most the most noticeable pop-in in the game is rings because they're constantly popping in pretty close to where the player is, even in single player.
So speaking of co-op, has anyone really played the multiplayer modes at all?
I have with Elliot.
Oh, like the little mini games? I didn't try those.
You're not missing anything.
I haven't even looked to see what they are because
The best part about the multiplayer challenges is Eggman abusing you, like verbally abusing you the entire way.
Is that another thing that I'm going to be looking up on YouTube, like the Sonic Colors PSAs and stuff?
Well, it's not as expansive as the PA announcements, but he never stops like mocking the shit out of you. Because you're like in his arenas that he designed specifically to fuck with the heroes. So, you're in his territory.
I see. Also, this was where you did that thing where you stood there and turned the camera back and forth.
Yeah, it's right after this cutscene prompt, because your models disappear when this happens.
Because the area behind you is sort of loaded.
Yeah. Oh, look, you managed to not get it.
Yeah, well, yeah, I was too far ahead and I didn't know about it. Otherwise, I probably would have shown it off.
Yeah.
But
I always approach that area with Tails, and I usually glide my way down there. And every time I play the game, the models always vanished. I had to turn the camera around so they can pop back in.
yeah.
Also, this is another section where if you lose while this force field is up, you can't get back in.
Oh, really? Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. I'm glad I didn't lose to this incredibly easy boss. Well, it is the boss of the level. This is the level's boss, because this one level, for some reason, has no boss whatsoever. Not even a shitty vehicle boss.
Well, I don't think every level here needs a boss, because I think this is a very relaxing game. Well, if you can get past the glitches, it's a very relaxing kind of game. Where I just sort of played it and
This level is meant to be like relaxing and naturey by itself, but it's off-putting because it's also the only individual level where you're hunting for a crystal, and there's no boss.
You don't need a boss, but it's anticlimactic for me.
It only bugs me because it's the only level that's like this.
Well, I just think it's a nice sort of break in tone. And Lyric and Eggman are off doing other things right now.
Yeah, but it's not like the other bosses are hard.
And they have this arena here where you fight all these mooks, but the fact that there is a really big arena with a force field in it and everything makes me wonder if they had a boss plan for this and just didn't have time to put it in. Or if maybe I'm starting to see potential cuts and omissions where there are none because of the way the game is.
I am curious as to how much was left in the cutting room floor for this game.
Probably a lot.
Alright, Ryan, let someone else speak for a chance. Jesus Christ, man. Apparently, to go from what just apparently, fans are starting to piece together from different sources that it seems like there was quite a bit cut from various points.
This game reminds me a lot of the Legacy of Kain games, especially Blood Omen 2.
That's so tragically familiar. I thought we were past the point where, because every Sonic game was, in a sense, developed quickly for holiday release, but, after they get something good going with Colors, Generations, and Someone Already Lost World.
Yeah, Clement.
I would.
You know what? It's the fan base, I think, because Sega feels like they need to have a Sonic game out every year, to the point where they didn't have a game out last year, 2013, if I remember correctly. And the
Sonic 4 Episode 2.
No, what? No, Episode 2
What?
came out in 2012.
No. Wait, 2013 was Sonic Lost World.
No, wait, was it 2012, maybe?
2012 was Episode 2.
Well, that was like in January, February, so that doesn't... there was no holiday
Still
release.
counts.
It was April, God.
Okay, shut up. Basically, my point is that they've never, I know that earlier somebody said that this game was in development for, 3 years, but I think you guys also said it wasn't a Sonic game for that long.
I think Sonic, memory serves me correctly, I think Sonic has been yearly since Heroes.
It's been yearly since the 90s.
And that's a problem, because...
It has it? Since the 90s?
Well, there's always been, something. There's always been, a Sonic Advance or a Sonic, Shuffle for the Dreamcast or some kind of remake or something.
I mean, I think between 3D Blast and SA1, I think there was, a 2-3 year period where there wasn't really anything. But I think since SA1, there's been at least either a main game or some kind of spin-off. At least once a year.
Because, Sonic Adventure, Sonic Pocket Adventure, Sonic Shuffle, Sonic Adventure 2, the GameCube remakes and Advance, it never ends.
Yeah.
I have a timeline of when I was doing the Sonic retrospective. I know this video is going on too long, but I had a Sonic retrospective because I was doing the games in order. There was always at least 2 games a year.
And I think that you need to give a game 2-3 years in development, focused development, not necessarily what went on here.
The Sonic has got to go fast.
What Sega tends to do with that, or at least when they're not developing games with their heads up their asses, they tend to overlap development on projects so that every individual game gets a couple years to cook, but other things are being released during that game's development.
Which apparently, I read something the other day where apparently Shadow, the Shadow game was made during development of 06. They started working on 06 before they started working on Shadow. And then they decided we need to make a game of Shadow, so they stopped production of 06 to work on Shadow. Which, if it's true...
Or at least siphon some of the production team.
Yeah, which I'm like, Sega, no, it's a bad game developer.
Yeah, even if you have multiple teams working on different things, it would, I know I'm oversimplifying this. I think they need to, Like, get an idea for a Sonic game, say, good, you have 3 years, just work on this, work on nothing else. Maybe have a side team make make dumb spin-off games or whatever, Sonic Party,
Well,
Sonic Tennis.
that would be that would be Sonic Boom.
All right, we can save this for next time.
Yeah, but we're not meeting for like another week. I'm gonna forget this conversation by then.
Aw.